All right, it's Bill here. Here's my thoughts on a 5-2 win for the Toronto Leafs over the New Jersey Devils. A little bit different than a couple weeks ago when they played. The Devils are still a bad team. Now they're a bad team without Jack Hughes. So you expected the Leafs to, I know they're on a back-to-back, but you expect them to play well. They didn't. But then they picked it up at the end. But they outshot them 37-20. At the end of the day, there wasn't a lot of chances. Two stupid mistakes led to two New Jersey Devil goals. This is my problem with the Leafs. It's constant. Bad plays lead to turnovers, which lead to goals. The Leafs, I think, lead the league in secondary assists. They've got to be very close to the top if they're not the top. And Mitch Marner had his probably 15th secondary assist tonight. This is the stuff that drives me crazy, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. It feels like the last couple of games. I know I didn't jump on after the Montreal game or the Pittsburgh game. My sister and my brother-in-law were down on Saturday. They got my thoughts during the game. I didn't really, nothing to say. And then I was playing darts last night, so I didn't get to see the entire game until today for Pittsburgh. Again, I didn't think it was the greatest effort that I've seen in the world, but win's a win, win's a win. But I want to spend a little bit of time on Auston Matthews. Auston Matthews, now I know I get the little critical, Auston Matthews isn't the best player in the NHL. Again, debatable. Certainly he's in the top 5. Like, I think that would be, who would be your top 5? Nathan MacKinnon, Connor McDavid. I don't think Kucherov's the best player in the NHL. He's a very offensively skilled guy, but he's a winger. I don't think he plays a lot of defense. Last time I checked, he's a good playoff performer. I'll give him that. But to say he's the best player in the league, I think that's a stretch. I think you probably throw Cale Makar in there. He plays defense, but he's certainly a dominant player. You got Matthews. Like, I'm sorry. Matthews now has, I believe it's 104 points on the season with 66 goals. 66 goals. Now, I will say the last couple of games, it's been trying to feed Matthews. Domi and Bertuzzi are out there to feed Matthews. It is what it is. That's what they're doing. Plenty of times they've given up chances to try to feed Matthews a goal. And then tonight, Domi made one great play to get to Matthews, and he scores. But here's the thing that you have to think about with Matthews. He's the Leafs' best offensive player. You can yip about Mitch. You can yip about William Nylander. You can yip about them, but they're not. They're not the best offensive players on the Leafs. Auston Matthews is the best offensive player that's ever played for the Leafs. I'm going to give you the line for the other players tonight. Johnny T! Where pucks go to die. You want to know why the power play sucks? The only way this guy gets an assist is if he wins a draw. That's how he gets his assist right now, is he wins a draw. They keep feeding him on the power play. 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points. William Nylander, who it looks like for the last 10 games has decided, I'm not playing hockey. You guys do you. I'll go to the third line, and I will do nothing tonight. And the third line was by far, even though Robertson got the goal, they were terrible. 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points. Mitch Ivana. Now, I feel bad for Mitch. I do. I have a little bit of feel bad because he's playing with Johnny T. What are you going to do with Johnny T? Like, honestly, $11 million player is that piss poor of a player. Please. We're trying stuff out, right? Put John Tavares 4th line winger. He can't hurt you. He can't. He just can't hurt you at 4th line winger. Put him on the power play, but don't give him the puck on the power play. Let him go to the net. I like Bertuzzi better in that spot right now. John Tavares, they put him on the boards. Either Nylander, Marner, or Matthews feeds him the puck, and the puck dies and is handed over. Tonight, he had a perfect opportunity passed in front of the net, and he just has no talent. The guy sucks. If you think John Tavares is an NHL hockey player, I've got land for you in Florida that I'd like to sell you. I'd like to sell it to you for really cheap. I'm going to count down the days. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, now granted, the regular season, I'm going to assume it ends April 18th next year. I'm going to assume it's April 18th, same as what the Leafs are this year. Today is April 9th. Okay, we have no leap year going into next year. We had a leap year this year. If I do my math right, we have 374 days left of this person on the team getting paid a contract. Now, the playoffs are playoffs. 374 more days of Johnny Tay being on the books. I am counting down the days until this garbage Kyle Dubas signing is gone. 374 days and counting. Anyways, again, he looks bad against the Devils. You see what happens. Now, here's my other thing. The Leafs need to do everything they can to get home ice advantage. Now, I see some other idiots that are on YouTube. Oh, home ice advantage means nothing. Are you an idiot? You must be a moron. It doesn't matter about home ice advantage. Home ice advantage, most advantage, home ice advantage, when you have John Tavares as a second-line center, is a very important thing. That means when you've got home ice advantage and you have a coach, I granted Sheldon sometimes doesn't coach properly, but if you have a coach worth his salt, you can keep Johnny Tay away from Barkov and Bennett come playoff time. You can put him up against, and he's still better than him, Lundell. But you can minimize the damage that Tavares can cause you. When you're on the road, Paul Maurice is going to be lining up Barkov or Bennett against Tavares every single time, twice on Tuesday. So don't tell me home ice doesn't have a play. I don't think home ice has advantage, and I'm going to throw something at my dog. Shut up! Home ice does mean something. Not because the fans are loud. Toronto Maple Leafs are not loud. We wish we played our games in Buffalo or even New Jersey. It seemed louder in New Jersey. But the home ice advantage gives you the opportunity to hide Johnny $11 million Tay. So yes, the Leafs should do everything in their power to get home ice advantage. Now let's talk about a real $11 million player, which is Auston Matthews. The best offensive center on the team. Also, the best defensive center on the team. It's not tough to be the best defensive center when you got Johnny T, Ohnberg, and Kampf. But he's the best. I would suggest he might be one of the best defensive center in the league. Watch him. He's not the most physical. There is a flaw with Auston Matthews. We all know what the flaw is. If he solved this flaw, he would be the best player in the NHL. He doesn't have the grit that we want to see. He doesn't have the Jarome Iginla. He doesn't have the Wendell Clark in him. Playoffs come around, that shows up. We wish he had more grit, but that's the only flaw in this guy's game. He skates, he shoots, he steals pucks like Pavel Datsyuk. There was a play tonight where I just sat in awe, where he did a one-hand and then tried to drag it back and nearly made the play. He pickpocketed the guy from 10 feet away. He's always deep in the defensive zone. He's always in the right position. I think he leads the Leafs in block shots, which is crazy. So please, what do they say, flowers? Give Matthews his flowers. He has 66 goals. How many of them are empty netters? 2? How many of them are... I think he's got 51 even strength goals. 51! I'm sorry, that's impressive. Oh, he scores against the worst teams in the NHL. Ah, really? Huh, didn't know that. He just scores against the worst teams in the NHL, does he? BS. He's got 66 goals. This is what gives Leaf fans like me hope, but we're blowing it. Now, I'd like to comment on another thing. First of all, it was on TSN. Thank God it was on TSN. It wasn't James Duffy. It was someone else. I forget her name. She wasn't horrible. And they had Korlo Kolyakovo and Jeff O'Neill and Darren Dreger. It wasn't bad. But they're talking about the goalie, like Joseph Wall's like the worst goalie in the world. I'm sorry. I might be the only Leaf guy person out there. I might be the only one. I think Wall's the better goalie. Samsonov still makes me nervous. He's sometimes not in the net. He's been playing well. Please, don't take me wrong here. He's been playing well since his dad had to talk. But Wall gives me more comfort in the net. Like, comfort. Look at the goals tonight. I guess he maybe should have had the one where Jake McCabe forgot how to play defense. Oh, did Jake McCabe forget how to play defense? Nah, couldn't have been Jakey McCabe. Not picking up a guy and letting him have a breakaway. So we had a breakaway where Nico Hischier made a pretty nice move. And then we have Mitch Marner who just backhands a potato up the middle that leads to another goal with a guy out front of the net not even covered. I think Wall's good. Do you ever think, hey, Wall's out of position? Do you ever have that comment where you think Wall's out of position? Sometimes Samsonov swims and he makes saves, don't get me wrong. I like Wall as the playoff starter. I just do. Anyways, Nick Robertson into the lineup, gets the first goal. Welcome back, Nick. You'll be out of the lineup in no time because we got to get spot for Reeves. Yeah, just in case it gets physical against Florida, which it probably will be. So you're not playing. Nice goal, though. I think you've got more goals per time on the ice than a lot of people, but we don't need goals in the playoffs. We need Reeves to, okay, sure. Yeah, again, a pretty decent. I don't know what's happened. There's not a lot of effort. I didn't feel like the team was playing hard tonight. I didn't think they played hard against Pittsburgh, and they certainly didn't play hard against Montreal. They just had a spurt in the second period. They survived Pittsburgh. It was nice to see Kyle Dubas and Jason Spezza look like that. I've seen that look before. I've seen the Dubas look before when the Leafs lose in the playoffs many a time. In the overtime, seen that quite a bit. Nice to see it on the other side. Yeah, didn't shed any tears for Dubas there. Thanks for the John D.T. signing, you idiot. How's that Erik Karlsson one working out for you? You got a knack for getting real good players at the end of their freaking careers that aren't that good, or sorry, you're really good at getting overrated players. You're really good at doing that. Anyways, the Leafs played the Devils on Thursday. Again, I'm playing darts, so probably a Friday morning commentary. Then they get Detroit on Saturday, and the end of the season is coming up, and playoffs will start. Let's see. I think if I do the standings tonight, because Florida won tonight. I think I saw they won 2-0. 9-3, the Canadians over the Flyers. I want to see the Torts press conference after that. Whew, that's going to be a beauty. The Leafs are 3 points behind Florida with 1 game in hand. So if I'm not mistaken, because they play Florida, if I'm not mistaken, if the Leafs win their last 4 games, they'll get home ice advantage. I don't think Tampa can catch them now. Tampa could. They've got to win all their games, and the Leafs got to lose all their games, but it can be done. Just win them all out. New Jersey, winnable. Detroit, it's going to be a tough game because they're fighting for a playoff spot, but winnable. And then Tampa and Florida, that last game might be for home ice advantage. I think it's important. Some other people don't find it important, but I kind of do. Anyways, should be fun. Cheers.